let's talk about something that sounds like a total contradiction, right? The Machiavellian art of empathy. I know, but stick with me because understanding this is the key to solving a really common and honestly a pretty painful problem in relationships.
Have you ever been there? A relationship kicks off with this incredible, intense connection, total adoration. You feel like you're completely in sync. And then, poof, it's like a switch flips, almost overnight. That warmth is just gone, and now there's this weird, cold distance. It's baffling. You're left wondering, how does a fire like that just go out?
And this right here, this is the perfect way to think about it. That initial spark, that seduction, it's like lighting a candle. It's beautiful, it's bright, it's intense. But if it's not fueled by real, genuine empathy, I mean a real desire to understand the other person, it has no wax. It just burns out, fast, leaving you both in the dark.
So, okay, let's get into the cause of this burnout. We're going to call this flawed approach the mechanical seducer. And it's a blueprint that, honestly, a lot of people follow, a lot of the time without even realizing it. And it's built on a huge misunderstanding of what actually creates a lasting connection.
Okay, so here's what this looks like in the real world. A lot of people focus on learning the techniques of attraction, right? Like holding intense eye contact, being mysterious, using that powerful, confident silence. And hey, for a little while, it works. It creates this sense of admiration. But here's the kicker. Without any real substance behind it, that admiration starts to curdle into suspicion. That magnetic presence suddenly starts to feel like a manipulative performance. To really get what's happening here, we're going to borrow a concept from a pretty unlikely place, military strategy. Believe it or not, it's called the OODA Loop. It's a framework that fighter pilots use to make split-second decisions in the heat of battle. It stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. Super effective for outmaneuvering an opponent. But when you apply this purely tactical loop to dating, well, it gets mechanical. You observe her signals, you orient based on how she responds, you decide on your next move, and you act, all with one goal, to win her attention. It turns a human connection into a kind of battle, a game of chess where someone has to come out on top. And this is where it all falls apart, because nobody wants to be a pawn in someone else's game, especially a game they never even agreed to play. When a connection is just a series of tactical moves, your partner doesn't feel cherished. They don't feel seen. They feel played. And that feeling, that is the poison that just kills intimacy. So, does that mean we just throw strategy out the window? No way. It means we're looking at the tool all wrong. This is where the whole paradigm shifts. We're not getting rid of strategy. We're giving it a massive upgrade with the most powerful human tool there is, empathy. This is the game changer, right here. Empathy is the missing ingredient. It's the thing that takes that cold, calculating OODA loop and completely transforms it. It goes from being this robotic, mechanical process into a rich, emotional symphony. The whole purpose changes from winning to connecting. So let's look at that loop again, but this time let's inject it with empathy. Now you're not just observing signals, you're observing her mood. You're not just orienting to her responses, you're trying to orient to her inner story. Your decision isn't about your next move, it's about how to protect her trust. And your action isn't to win, it's to make her feel safe. See? The focus completely shifts from you to her. And what does all that lead to? It leads to this incredibly profound truth. We all have this deep, fundamental need to be truly seen for who we are. Our messy parts, our hopes, our fears, the whole thing. And that experience is so rare and so incredibly powerful that it becomes the bedrock of real, lasting love. It's not about being impressive. It's about being present. Okay, so that's the what. Now let's get into the how. If being seen is the goal, then creating emotional safety is the method. This is the master's toolkit for building a connection that can actually last. So what is emotional safety, really? It's that feeling that you can be your full self without being afraid. It's when your partner meets your emotions with patience, not with judgment. It's knowing they can sense when you're in pain, but they won't drown in it with you. They're a rock. They stay grounded in the storm. Proving you are that reliable, that is the doorway to real trust. But here's the catch. You can't be that rock for somebody else if you haven't dealt with your own stuff first. This is where something called shadow work comes in. It's the tough but absolutely necessary job of looking at the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. Your jealousy, your insecurities, your need for control, so that you stop projecting all that junk onto your partner. And this is just so crucial. If you haven't made peace with your own inner demons, you will inevitably push them onto the person you're with. You just can't hold space for her insecurities if you are absolutely terrified of your own. True empathy has to start with self-awareness.
All right, so now we're going to bring it all together: power, control, and care. But listen up, because this part also comes with a really important warning about getting the balance right.
You know, relationships are all about balance. It's like walking a tightrope. If you lean too hard into dominance and control, your partner is going to feel oppressed and they're going to rebel. They'll pull away. But if you lean too far the other way into total softness and become a doormat with no boundaries, you risk losing their respect. And with it, their attraction. It's all about that golden balance in the middle.
And this is the warning we absolutely have to listen to. If your empathy has no limits, if you just absorb every emotion and bend to every single whim without protecting your own core, well, that isn't compassion. That's self-betrayal. And think about it. Your partner can't fully trust someone who doesn't even respect themselves.
Look, empathy is an incredibly powerful tool. But like any powerful tool, it can be misused or corrupted. In the wrong hands, it can be a weapon to manipulate someone's vulnerabilities. It can also just collapse into weakness, which totally erodes trust. And maybe most commonly, it just leads to complete and total emotional burnout. You have to use it with wisdom.
So this brings us right back to the main idea, the big takeaway from all of this. We've been looking at it all wrong. Empathy is not the enemy of seduction. It is its evolution. Seduction might win someone's attention, their time, maybe even their body. But it's empathy, and empathy alone, that keeps their soul. That's what makes them stay.
Which leaves us with one last really important question to ask ourselves in all of our relationships. When you use your strength, your influence, what's the end game? Is the power you're building designed to control the other person, or is it designed to truly, deeply connect with them? The answer to that question changes absolutely everything.